This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so this will contain the object repository files, and if you want to do any changes in the object repository values, you have to do it in this particular file. Now, this is a dot properties file, so I have to basically read this properties file. Now, if you look at any of the business scenario test cases, send mail or same mail, they have to use the object of the keywords class, which is created out here. Okay, now understand one particular thing, that an object is initialized by a constructor, right? An object can be initialized by a constructor. So I will read this properties file. Where's the word.properties file? A general way to read a properties file is by using the properties class. Have I shown you that before?
Property class. Probably not.
Let me check it. Okay, I have not shown you. So now I have to read this one. Let's say I create a rough package inside this, okay?
Yeah.
To show you all the rough work. Okay, I'll show you how to read the properties file. Now, before that, you have to create the properties file. So properties file will always have an extension of dot properties, like what dot properties and all. So I'll create a new properties file inside the rough package. I will call this by calling others, and then the general tab, expand it. There's a file option, highlight and click on next. So I'll call this properties file as browser dot extension should be dot properties. You can finish. Now I have to read this properties file. So I'll create a class file, call this as reading, writing from properties file. Call the main method out here, just to show you how to read and write, because I've not shown you. Okay, first of all, we need to understand one particular thing, that properties. Have I done collection with you?
Collection. I believe. Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
So I think we have done collection. If I'm not wrong, it should be somewhere out here. I think I have done properties file also, session 21.
Okay.
Okay, this is how you read and write. Anyways, if it is defined out here, reading, writing properties file, it's defined out here. So what you need to do, the properties file is properties is a class which implements the map interface. Now map interface takes key value pairs. So you have to first create an object of the properties file, and then the file input stream class. This is the object of the file input stream class. The deal of this particular class is to read data from the properties file by giving the path inside the argument. So this will read the data from the properties file, browser.properties file, in a bytecode format. And then with the load method of the properties class, load is a method of the properties class, you load the file input stream. This will basically contain the bytecode, the code, the data which it has read from the properties file. For reading purpose, you have to use the get property method, and you have to pass on the key. The key out here is browser 1, browser 3, browser 2, browser 1, browser 4. So the keys has to be argumented as an argument of the get property. The return type of get property is a string. So this will actually give you the value of the key. Whatever is the value of the key, let's say IE or Chrome, that will be printed out by this println command. Similarly, you can read the value of this key called browser too. Now you want to write something in the properties file, you have to use the put method. Put and what is the key and what is the value of the key. You define that. And this put method value, that is the key and the value pair, has to be streamed out in a bytecode manner. For streaming out in the bytecode manner, you have to use the object of the file output stream class, and you will define the path where you need to stream out in the same properties file. After that, put method, stream it out. After that, store it in the properties file. So stores method stores FOS, there is nothing but the file input stream class object, and whatever comment you want to give. And that's how it is stored, storing the file. Okay, that is how you can read and write from the properties file. The same thing I need to do is that uh, then I don't have to create the rough. Just refer session 21. You get it. I don't have to create it then. Okay, so how do I read this properties file? And there are a lot of keys and values of it. Okay, so in the keywords file, I'll create a constructor. Now, what is the job of the constructor? Constructor is basically job is to initialize objects, right? So I've created an object of the keywords class in the sendmail. This is the keywords reference variable and this is the object created. So this object will get initialized by the constructor that I create in the keywords class. I'll create the constructor. How do you create the constructor? After the global variables. This is where I'll create the constructor. Now, what is the job of the constructor? The job is to initialize the object. Object of which class? Of keyword class. Because I'm creating the constructor in the keyword class, it will initialize the object of keyword class. Now let's create a constructor. It will be a public constructor. Constructor will always take the name of the class file. Take it. And parenthesis followed by body. Okay. Now I have to read this properties file, or.properties. Okay. Now what I need to do is that I'll create an object of the properties file, reference variable of the properties file at the global level, call it P1. Import the properties from the utility package. Now, what is the job of P1? I'll tell you. The job, the job of P1 reference variable is to load the
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Able to hear me?
Yes, I am now.
Okay. So the job of the P1 reference variable is to load the or.properties file. And if I go to OR, apart from these objects, the OR also contains the argument. And I've said that if the argument is set to UAT, okay, if the value of the environment is set to UAT, the UAT.properties file should be read. Where is the UAT.properties file? Out here. It contains the requisite URL, username, password for the UAT testing phase. Now, if the environment of OR is set to SIT, the SIT.properties file will be read. Now, if you look at the spelling, uppercase or lowercase of SIT and UAT should match with the environment that you are changing out here. So if the environment is set to UAT in the OR properties file, the UAT.properties file should be read. And if it is changed to SIT, for example, in order environment is changed to SIT, the SIT.properties file will be read because the SIT and the UAT will have different URLs and passwords or usernames. That is what we have said. Now, if you go over to keywords, the P1 reference variable will be able to load the OR.properties file and read the data from data. Okay. Next, this is the job of the properties P1 reference variable. Next is that I'll create one more reference variable of the properties at the global level, P2. Now, what is the job of P2? The job of P2 is to load the environment-based properties file. The job of P2 is to load the environment-based properties file and read the data from it. So what I mean to say is that if the environment key in or.properties file is set to let's say, is set to, for example, UAT. P2 reference variable should read data from UAT dot properties file. That is what I mean. I'll put it in comment. Now P1 basically will load. So P1 will, job of P1 is to load the OR.properties file and read the data from there. I hope you understand why P1 is used.
Yeah.
And P2 reference variable is basically to load the environment based properties file and read the data from there. Now, for example, if the environment, this is env, key in OR.properties file is set to UAT, P2 reference variable should read data from UAT.properties file. Similarly, if the OR.properties file environment is set to SIT, it should read the data from SIT.properties file. Now, who will read the data? P2 reference variable. So that strategy we have to maintain now. How do you maintain this? So this constructor will allow the above strategy for as defined for P1 and P2 reference variable. I'll show you a trick out here. Now, first of all, if you go to session 1, session 21, this is where I show you how to read it. So you get an object to the properties file. In the same manner, I'll call P1 inside. P1 is already defined out here. It's a properties class equal to new properties. Now remember, the constructor body initializes the object. The object of the keyword class is always created in send mail, unsave mail. Now after that, what you're supposed to do? You're supposed to basically use the file input stream. I'll copy this. And you have to give the path. The path that you are giving is the P1 will read which one? It should load the OR.properties file. So this is the path of OR. Right click, go to properties, get the path of this. Put it out here. And this invokes an exception, you can see that. So if you use the throws clause, it will handle the exception, but it will have a tailing effect, what we have seen. So handle with the try catch block. If you use the try catch block, it will not have a tailing effect. Okay, so So in order to not have a telling effect, I have to have a try catch block, and this is the catch block. And the catch block basically has an argument which is nothing but the object of the exception class. And I can print out the message of the exception if I want to. And you can put this whole thing inside the try catch block. Okay, it is defined by FIS. Now after that, what I had done, I had load the FIS. The same thing I'll do out here, because P1 is supposed to load the OR.properties file. So P1 dot load and load FIS. After that, the first thing that I will do is I will read this specific environment key. How do I read the environment key? If I want to read any key, value of the key, I have to basically use the get property method and this return a string. So I'll have to pass on the key. There's a key in the OR.properties file called env. So I'll go out here. I will read the key call by the get property method, and the key is env. Now here's the trick out here. What is the return type of this particular method? String. I'll call this string variable as environment. Now I've told you that based on the value of this key, the job of P2 is what? Is to initialize the object. Here I have defined is of this constructor actually. This is not a constructor out here. This is P2. Now what is the job of P2? The job of P1 reference is to load the environment based properties file and read the data from there. If the environment key is or.properties file, okay, it is basically, it will read the UID.properties file. Now what is actually the job of P2? Job of P2 is to read data of the environment based file. I have told you one thing. Job of P1 reference will be is to load the environment based properties file. If the environment key is set to OR. If the environment key in OR property is set to UAT, it will read the P2 reference variable should read the data from the UAT properties file. So if it is set to what? If it is set to UAT, P2 reference variable should read the UAT.properties file. Now, what is the value of this environment? What is the value of the environment key in OR.properties file? UAT. So what is the value of this environment variable? You should right now give what? UAT is the value. Now, P2 should read this environment.properties file. How do it should read it? I have to again create an object of the P2, like the same behavior here. And I have to read the properties file by the file input stream method. So I'll call FIS the whole thing. I will not create an object of the FIS again of file input stream. Just call it once more. Done. Now, what is the value of environment? It is set to UAT. Okay. Now, how will it read the UAT.properties file? If the environment in P1 in the OR.properties file is set to UAT, it should read, P2 should read the UAT.properties file. How it will read? So if you look at all the properties file are kept in the same path until com.hybrid.config. Okay, instead of this OR, I'll put a concatenation. I'll put a colon here also. And in between this concatenation and this, again, this is nothing but a string. Before the plus sign is the string. In between this, can't I call this particular variable? So you are reading the environment keys value by P1. It is set to UAT. Now what will FIS load? Nothing but UAT.properties file. That is what it will load. It will load nothing but the UAT.properties file. Correct?
Correct.
This is what the trick is. So if I set it up, for example, tomorrow I set it up from UAT to SIT, then P1 will actually get the value of environment as SIT from here. This will be SIT. And then P2 is supposed to read the SIT.properties file. How it will basically read? It has to first use an input stream and it will basically go to the same path. And what will this read now? What is the value of environment key right now? The value of the environment variable is SIT. So it will read SIT.properties file. And then you load it in the same manner as I loaded this. The only thing is that it should be a reference variable P2. P2 again load FIS. Then you start, how do you read the values of the key? Get property method. Simple. So if I set it to UAT and save it, what will the get property method read out here? It will read now the value of the key environment as UAT. And this is the value of the environment variable. Then I basically create an object of this properties file with P2 reference variable. And then again, I use the file include stream method to read the properties file. How do I read it? Based on the value of environment. That is why the paths are same of both the properties file, or.properties and vd.properties. So what I need to do is that concatenate the variable environment and dot properties extension of that. Am I clear?
Yes.
Then load it. Not load. Now, here is the bigger story right now. Now here is where you have to do complete changes. What changes you need to do? What is this? This is assertion function for asserting that the element to be present by the attribute value. I will not go by this. I'll go stepwise as defined out here. Now in this step, the first thing is that I'm opening the browser. So let me go to open browser. Am I using any locating strategies out here? I don't think so.
No.
Okay, next thing. Navigate. Screenshot is fine. Then after I navigate, I'm navigate with this URL. Now, right now, the URL is kept in the UD.properties file. Correct? This is the URL.
Yeah.
What I will do, this is the key. I'll copy the key. Go to my send mail. Instead of this, what will I do? I'm commenting it for your reference. I'm commenting it. I'm copying it so you can understand what changes have been done. Instead of this, I'll put the key. In string format only, I'll put the key. Now I will, I have copied properly. The key is URL, right? Okay, fine. Now I put the key. Now I go to the navigate method. This is the navigate method. Now this is the URL. So what it is reading, what is the value of this? What's the value of this right now? The value of this is nothing but this key. The key is, I have got the key from Unity.properties file, right?
Right.
So what is the value of the navigate method here? String URL. Value of this is URL. This is the key. How do you read the key? Where is this key present? Unity.properties file. How do you read the environment properties file? You read the environment properties file. I've given it out here. You read the environment properties file how? By using P2. Job of P2 is to read the data of the environment based on properties file, environment based properties file. So what will I do in the navigate method? Instead of this URL, I'll call P2 dot get property method. And what is the key? The key will come from here. So what is the value of string URL? The value of string URL is, what is the value of string URL? Is the URL. And what is this URL? Key as defined in UAT.properties file. And how is the environment based properties file read? By P2. The environment based property file is read by P2 reference variable. So what is the value of string URL? URL. That is the key as defined in the URL properties file. So what I'm using the get property method. The get property method is basically used to get the value of this key. And it's read by P2. Am I clear?
Yeah.
And in order to, I'll copy this first. I will put it above this and then do the change. Paste it. This was earlier as had passed on the URL. Now I have changed it to how I'm reading the environment based property file by P2. And URL is nothing but this particular parameter. The value of this parameter is coming from URL, which is passed out in send mail out here. Am I clear what's happening?
Yeah.
Next is assertion to find that we are landing in the landing page of readme mail. We are by the class attribute value for the readme mail text, we are asserting it. Okay. Now, couple of things. This is the class attribute value of readme mail logo. Where I have kept this, all the locating strategies values are kept in or.properties file. And if you look at go above, readme logo image assertion XPath. This is what is the step out here. I'm asserting the readme, asserting that we are in the landing page of readme. How? By the readme logos class attribute value. And in the word properties file, this is the key for that. I'll copy the key. I'll go to send mail. Instead of this XPath, I'll put the key. Now I'll go to this particular function. This is the function. How it is reading the key? This is the locating value. The value of this locating value will come from is the value of this key. And where is this key kept? Where is this key kept? In or.properties file. How is or.properties file led? By P1. So wherever there is a locating value, use P1.getProperty. Because the locating strategies are kept in or.properties file. How are you reading the or.properties file? By P1. And what is the key? locating value, because the value of the locating value, what is the value of locating value? The value of locating value is nothing but the key that I have passed. And what will the get property method do? It will read the value of the key. Simple. Am I clear?
Yeah, sure.
This I have to copy everywhere there's a locating value. So I have to copy this and paste it out here. Locating value, paste that. Wherever there's a locating value, we paste it. What are you doing? You're actually making your maintenance hassle free. Any changes in the value of the locating strategy, that will be changed out here. The key will remain same. And is the key value that you are calling in the out here. So you are centralizing the maintenance part. You have to do not have to go to each line of the code and do a change. That's what is happening, right? Okay, done. For the assertion by the assertion of the landing page, done. Everything is done. Now go down. Assertion of the username field. In order to type in the username field, you are asserting it by the text. Now this is the XPath of that particular username and where you have kept it in or.properties file. This is the key of the username field edit box assertion XPath. I'm copying it. I'm pasting it out here. I'm pasting the key. This value will go to this particular method. Then what is the value of locating strategy? That key. How do you get the value of the key? By using the get property method. How are you reading the order properties? By the p1 reference variable. So what you are supposed to do? You're supposed to use p1 dot get property and give this key. The value of locating value is the key that you have passed there, and get property will give the value of this key. The same thing you have to copy, and wherever there's a locating strategy, do that. This is the maintenance part of the framework now. Where is Caddy? Not to be seen.
Yeah, I spoke to her. We spoke last week. She's finished. She said she's finished moving, and she will begin. She says very soon.
Okay. Okay. So what we have done is, instead of the XPath, we have given the key as defined in or.properties file for asserting the username field. Next step is what? We are typing in the username field. That's the XPath for the typing. Where we have kept the XPath in or.properties file. And this is the user field edit box type XPath. Copy that. Okay. So ID is going to login one. You're going to see the same XPath is out here. So instead of the XPath, I put on the key. Now, if somebody looks at this particular URL, they will not understand what is this. You know where it is kept. Where is this value of this key is kept? It is kept in or.properties file. This is a centralized OR object repository file. You know it now. Now, what is this value will go where? In this particular part. Is in the particular part, right? In input username. So where it is kept in OR.properties file. So I'll go to this particular function. This is the locating value will be the value of the key that you have passed here. This will be the value of locating value. Okay. Now, how are you reading the OR.properties file? Because that key is kept in OR.properties. How are you reading it? P1 dot get property. And which property you are reading? The property of this key, the value of this key. Where is the key defined? In locating value. Copy this out here, paste it. So locating value, ensure to change it with p1.get property. And I think I have used here also. Do a change here also. So that is going to click first on the edit box and then type. Okay, so have I changed all the locating styles by p1.get property? Fine. Let's go back out here. If you look at usernames are actually kept in environment based properties file, at least the username and the password. And the environment is set to UAT. So the username will be coming from UAT.properties file. So out here, what is the key of the username? This is the key because the username is kept out here. The same username is passed here. Correct, right?
Yeah.
So I'll put the key and I'll go back to the same function. Now, where is the key kept? On the environment based properties file. How is the environment based properties file read? By P2. This is the type data. So wherever I have got the type data is nothing but the username. How are you reading the username key? By the P2 reference variable, P2 dot get property. And what is the value of type data? The value of the type data is the value of this key. The value of this key is this. So I'll go out here in the right username and I'll pass on this type. What is the value of type data? The value of type data is username. That is the key. So get property will basically read the value of the key. What is the value of the key? Value of the key is selenium.testmate 2017. Done. So wherever is the type data used, wherever in this function the type data is used, convert it to p2.get property type data. Here, 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 here. Done. Then what is the next part? So I'm going slow a bit, Bakare, because I want you to understand.
Right.
Okay. And after that, assertion of the password field. Where is the assertion key kept? The object repository based keys are kept in the or.properties file. And this is the HTML part. The XPath value. Where is the key kept? Out here? And what is the name of the key? Name of the key is password field edit box assertion XPath. I'll copy this key, go out here and paste it in place of this XPath value. Done. Now assert text is a function. Now where it is kept? In or.properties file. How do you read the or.properties file? By P1. You go to this particular assert text. What is the locating value? Locating value is nothing but the key that you have passed. How do you read the value of the key? By the get property method. And what you are reading, order properties. How are you reading the order properties? By P1. So wherever there is locating strategy already changed by P1, you can see that. Change it out here. Other locating strategies are also being changed. You can see that. All are changed. By the tag name, locating value, by the partial text, locating value, whatever it is. Okay, this is already being changed now. So I've just changed the in place of the XPath, I've just put the assertion based for password. Then I'm typing on the password. Right in input password method is there. This is the XPath. The XPath is kept in OR.properties file. This is the key. First, I will put the key. Then go to write in input. For username password, there are different functions. Locating value. What is the value of locating value? The value of locating value is this. Where is this kept in OR.properties file? How do you read the OR.properties file? By P1. So what you will do? P1 dot get property and you pass on this key. The get property of this key will be the value of the key. So wherever there is locating strategy, wherever this locating strategy is there, pass on. Here also you have to change. Here also you have to change. Here also. Here also. Here also. Here also. Here too. Here and here also. Now, environment. This is nothing but username. This is password. The password, username, URL are kept in the environmental based properties file. And what is the key of password? This is the password. This is the password test at the rate 1234. I'll copy the key, go out in the same function. I'll put the key in place of the password. What's the key? I think the key that I have copied is password. Done. Now, how do you read the environment based key? Properties file by P2, right? So I'll go back to this function. This is the type data. The value of the type data is the key called password right now. Now, how do you basically read the key value? How do you read the key value? You are reading the environment based properties file by P2. P2 dot get property of the key as type data. And wherever this is present, paste it. Done and save it. Next is what? Assertion of the go button. This is the XPath of the go button for assertion. This is the XPath. Now this XPath is kept out in or.properties file. Go button assertion. I have to copy this, paste it out here. Now how do you read the or.properties file? By P1. So go to this particular function. Locating value, you read by P1. Changed out there. Okay, that's all been done. Next is you click on the go button. For clicking on the go button, the key is this. The submit method is used. Okay, so this is the XPath of the go button. put the key and you go to the click button submit method. How do you use the locating value? You use the P1 reference variable to read the OR.properties file. So P1 dot get property, and this is the value of the key will be read. That's all. And wherever there's a locating value, copy this and paste it. Copy this, paste, paste, paste. Remember there's a click button click also. I can do the same thing with this locating value. If I have a button which is not part of the form tag, I have to use the click method. The same strategy will be used here also, right? Why not change it now? Save it. Go out. Now wait for the inbox page to open. You're searching on the inbox page by the right mail link. So the assertion XPath is kept out. Right mail link assertion XPath. Copy that. And in place of that, this is the XPath of that right mail link assertion. Paste it. Go to this assert text. Locating value, the key of this particular value is kept in order properties file. You have to use by P1. Am I audible?
Yeah. Yes.
1 minute.
Okay.
Okay. So how I'm reading that? Assert text by asserting the link, I think. It's already being changed out here. I don't have to do any changes. Let's go back to SendMe. The only thing that I've done is asserting this change the XPath by the key of it. Then you click on the right mail link. There's a key defined out here for key. Click on the right mail link. Go out here, change it, and go to the click link. And how are you reading the locating value? The key. It will be basically get the key. How are you reading the value of the key? It is kept in or.properties file, so you read it by P1. And you pass on this locating value. That's all. You copy this and do the change. Save it. Then next is asserting the to field. You have the key out here, the key of the XPath of the to field. Replace it by that key and assert text. The locating value is changed already by p1.get property, so I don't have to do anything right now. Go back. Then you type on the to field. This is the XPath of the to field, which is kept as a key out here. Copy it. Instead of this XPath, put this key, and here write in input. The locating value will be the key. And how do you basically read the key from the order properties file? By the p1 reference variable, p1.get property. And you pass this key. So wherever there is a locating value, you got to copy this part and put that. I think Control F is there. It will replace everything. I don't want to do like that.
Okay.
So clicking on that, then sending the type data, and then keys.return. Done. After that, asserting the subject field. So I have the key of the subject field assertion out here. Copy the key. And then I have to go to assert text. That's already been changed by P1. So I don't have to do any changes. Then you are typing on the subject field. The key for the typing is kept out here. Copy this and put the key instead of this XPath and do the change. I just did the change. So I don't need to do anything out here. And then I am switching to the frame by the XPath of the frame. So here is the frame switch XPath. Copy it, and this is the key of this XPath. I have to go to this particular method. Locating value is there. So how I am going to read it? What properties where you have that. So p1.get property, and this the locating value will have the key. Pass on the key also. The get property will read the value of the key. Copy. Done. Then you have to type on the compose area. This is the XPath of that compose area which you have kept out here. Control C, do the change out here. Done. And you go to this write in input, locating value. How are you reading it? By p1 dot get property. And this is the value. So wherever there is a locating value, just change it. This is a keyword function for all edit boxes, apart from username and password. All changes can be done. Let's go out here. So what is this write in input then? Apart from username and password, okay. And what is this one? Have I written two? These locating values should be also changed by the p1 reference variable. And do that change wherever you find that. This can be changed also. Frame switch by index. This is frame switch by keyword function for all edit boxes apart from username and password. I didn't did the change it beforehand. Is there one more function like that I've created stupidly? Let me cross verify it. I think I didn't change it. Now I have changed. So that's why I got confused. Yeah. Okay, now I change it. Fine. No, better late than never. Frame switching has been done. After that, compose area, compose fill. Then you have to get out of the frame. You get out. There's no XPath or no locating strategy out here. You assert on the text of the send link. So there is send mail link assertion. Copy it, the key out here. And if I want to check if it has been changed out here, locating value, has been changed. Okay, save it. Then click on this end link. So the or.properties file. This is the key for the next path. Put the key. Go to the click link. Locating value has been changed by P1 or not. Yes, it has been changed. Fine. Go out here. Then you assert on the logout link. This is the assertion of the logout link. Here's the key. Go to the assert test and check everything has been changed or not. We have changed. Then you click on the logout link. This is the key for clicking. Key gets passed out here. And click link I think has been changed. Yeah. So what you have done is that nobody will understand where are the values of it unless the person understands the framework. And the second thing is that you're making it secretive. Third thing is that you're centralizing the maintenance. So if the change is there in the locating strategy value, you do a change out here. It gets reflected in the code. That's the beauty of it. And also the environment based properties are kept out here in the environment based files. So now what I can do is that I can run this send mail because I have not done any changes in same mail. It has not been changed to keyword driven. Nothing has been done. You need to do that. But at least I can run this after doing the maintenance. And let's see it is running fine after creating this kind of maintenance behavior in the framework.
Okay. Actually, building a framework, I think so far has to be the most challenging one. Not because it's challenging, because there's so many things you have to change.
Yeah, a lot of things have to be changed. I understand it. I'll stop it at right now at this point of time.
You know, this is harder than learning basic Java.
No, it is actually not hard. If you have, practicing it for a long, long time, you
Yes.
keep on looking at the videos. See, the
Yeah.
best way is to look at the videos.
My gosh, you're like a master at this.
Doing it for the last 16, 17 years now.
My gosh. While it's running, I have a question regarding um a basic question regarding Maven.
Tell me.
Maven, is it used anymore, or people do not use it anymore?
Yeah, it is used. I
Okay.
think I have not shown you Maven, right?
No, no.
Okay, so I will teach you Maven after the framework and then I'll start APM because in APM also Maven is used.
Gotcha. Okay.
So has it failed? There's a failure. Why is a failure? Illegal argument cannot find elements when the XPath is null. By class keywords Java 122. Let's go there out here. Okay, next is problem with send mail. What have I done? Assertion has failed. And why is the illegal argument exception is coming? Cannot find elements when the XPath is null. How is the XPath null? It is read by locating value, e1 dot get locating value, over dot properties file. And which assertion has failed? Redeem mail logo. I'm asserting by this is the XPath locating value. Attribute is class, and the expected value is this. Expected value is string message. Let me read it once more to check out. Just hold on.
Sure, sure.
Still willing. And it says that again the same failure. Illegal argument cannot find elements when the XPath is null. That's keywords 122. Okay. Actual attribute driver defined by the XPath attribute value get the attribute at class. The attribute value that you are trying to get is by class. And what I have done a silly mistake is that the value of the attribute is, where is the value of the attribute? It's out here. Where I have used this? Nowhere have I used. So silly mistake, you can see that. Get attribute of the attribute that I'm passing. The third attribute that the third argument that you're passing is the attribute value. Now how are you basically you're passing get attribute and the attribute value will be this. So instead of the class, I have to pass this, no? Major mistake I did. So you see, after 15, 16 years, I still create silly mistakes.
Hmm.
The
Yeah.
human and I'm human thing. I'm human being. I'm not supercomputer.
Right.
Now I shall run it, and this should not basically happen anywhere else. Attribute value equals ID. Here also I have to change it. Everywhere changes are required now. else if again, yeah, else if is coming, so I have to change it. If the value is href, I think else if is still there. Yes, it is there. It's a huge program, huge function actually. The attribute values again, else if is there. Yes. Else if is still there. Yeah. Done. Okay, let's run it now. I should not create a problem. Hmm. Illegal argument exception. Why it is coming? Search keyword. Locator equals xpath. Then driver dot find element by the xpath. Get attribute of the class. There is a mistake out here. If the attribute values is equal to class, if attribute is equal to class, if locator equals id, attribute equals class. Okay, this value equals class. If locator, where is the locator used? Locator is xpath. So if the attribute equals class, yes, it is equal to class. Fine, it is equal to class, and locator equals attribute equals locator equals xpath. Xpath. Where is xpath? Xpath is out here. Then driver dot find element by the xpath p1 dot get property. One, two, three. Actual attribute you get by the XPath and get the attribute of the attribute. Get the attribute of attribute fine. Extra this thing is coming. One dot get prop. Oh, extra has come. Oh shit. It's extra, right? P1 dot get. All have 3. This had 4. This also is having 4. So my mistake. Now it should work. Running now. It has passed. Still running. Failed. Why failing? No such element. Unable to locate the element by the XPath. Go button assertion XPath. Go button assertion XPath. That's the go button. How are you asserting it? Keyword this. Go out here. By the value. The assertion failure or is no such element. Has the XPath of this changed? I'm checking at runtime right now.
Okay.
I will just do a chain in out here if it is needed. Go button assertion. Input div2 div2 div1 div. Input div2 div1 div. Same thing. What is the attribute value? Attribute is equal to value. If attribute is equal to name, href, source, value. Now this is the problem. The locator values has to be changed by P1. I have not done that change, right? Earlier here and all also have not done change. You can look at nowhere I have done change because the locator value is nothing but it is read by the P1 reference variable, which I have not done a change out here. Now I'm getting the key. The key is put in or.properties file. How are you reading the or.properties file? It is P1, here it is P1 and all, fine. Locator value, how out here, I have not done change. Left it like this, half-heartedly. Carelessness. This is called carelessness, simple carelessness. I have changed. This time it was. That means everything is failing because my functions has not been changed properly, and that is because of my carelessness. But it is good to see it. You should not do it at your end when you start doing it.
Okay.
This does not come. Just go to inbox. I hope it has not failed because I have given a time, right?
Yeah.
I hope it has still not failed. Oh, it has failed. Again, illegal argument exceptions. I have done the silly mistake again. And I'll tell you where I've done it. I can just find it out here in keywords. This is where the problem will be. And where I have done, again, same thing, 2 times. So you just not DPS. Here also I have done 2 times. Simple silly mistake. And everywhere I've done it. Where it is needed, I did not do that job. Where it is not needed, I have done twice.
Hmm.
Once I've used here once. Here twice. Once. Everywhere once now, I believe so. Yeah. Okay. Let's see where it stops now. Anyway, we are rectifying things. Now it is fine.
Okay.
Now it has failed again. After writing also. Okay. I have the same problem. Somewhere I've left it. Yeah, twice. This is where the mistake is. One happy flow will finish the session.
Okay.
Still running, I can see. Okay. Subject done. Should go inside the frame now. Still running, I can see. Got inside the frame, will get out now. Now everything will be fine. Assertion of send and clicking assertion of logout should log out right now. Last point failure. Assert the logout link is not present. Why? Did I change the assertion? Text for logout. Send mail, assertion for logout. Yeah, this is where the failure was. That means everything is working now. I'll put T out here. The expected result will be equal to the actual result. So everything is working now. It's a happy flow.
Okay.
Okay, I'll send you the script and I'll send the video also.
Cool. Cool.
I'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. All right, good night.
Yeah. Ajay, you wanted to speak something, you said?
No, it was regarding Maven.
Maven. Okay, okay, fine. I'll take it after
Okay.
this.
Thanks.